Well, what is up everybody? Welcome back to another video, and today I wanted to showcase something which I heard about from a good friend of mine, Ray, on the sim team, and from a LazGamez video, which is this new third-party app for iRacing called Marvin's Awesome iRacing app. And essentially what it does is it takes over iRacing's control of your wheels' force feedback and gives you a much more in-depth control panel and settings to tweak for your force feedback, and it just massively improves the experience all up. So I wanted to show you guys that today. We're going to do a few test drives in some different cars. I've got the Porsche Cup car, the Cadillac GTP, and then the Kia Optima production car. So we're going to do that. Let's get straight into it. And all credit for this video, for the idea and everything, goes to LazGamez. I'll leave a link to his video in the description on this exact topic. But let's get straight into it. Get there. It's gonna be us. Yes. Woohoo! There we are. Yes. Oh, I'm having another accident. I'm over. That is why. That's huge. Okay, so here we are in a test session. We've got the Porsche 992 Cup. We're going to do some Brands Hatch Indy circuit, but as you can see on the screen here, we've got the force feedback app. So Marvin's Awesome iRacing app. So this is what it's called. This is how it looks when you install it for the first time. And we can see here, so we've got a bunch of different options. And the best way to set it up is if you're on a wheel like mine, which is only 5 Newton meters, you set your wheel max to whatever its max output is. So in my case, 5.0 mm. Best way to do it, have the overall scale at about 70%, because this controls the overall force, so how strong it is and how much it vibrates. Then you want to jump down to the detail scale, and this is the equivalent of the intensity slider on iRacing itself. And you want to drop this down to about 100%, 99%, but you don't want to go above 200, because then it will start shaking too much and there'll be too much force going through. So about 150% is what you want. The parked scale is how much force it's going to output when you're not moving, so when you're in the pits, when you're in the garage, whatever. And you want to have this at about 10% or so there's no oscillation happening when you're motionless. And then the final thing is frequency. For 90% of wheels, you want this at 333.33, because the other option is 500, which is too much and it'll shake like crazy, and anything below is too little. So 333 is a good midpoint. And then the final thing is, if we can see up the top here, you want to enable steering effects, because that gives you a lot of the detail. So we're going to do that. I am going to go and minimize the tab now, and we're going to go and see how this looks. Other very quick thing I need to mention is, when you set this up, when you go into your options, you need to disable your force feedback in the iRacing settings, because they will confuse the two. So you need to make sure, for Marvin's app to work, you need to untick the force feedback box. But let's go straight into it. We're going to come out of the pits here in the Porsche Cup car. Going to decrease this brake bias down a bit, and out we go onto the circuit. And a little bit of a lock up there. I'm gonna go straight off the track. But you can see how already, when I ride over the curbs, I get so much more feeling. A little bit more lock up there. The tyres are very cold. And through we go over those curves. And the one thing which is really detailed is the oversteer effects, which I'm going to demonstrate there by spinning. I just wanted to get a little bit of oversteer. I didn't want it to have a full spin. But we'll get going again. And you can see, yeah, just how accurate this whole thing is. It's over these curves. And third gear. What I'm actually going to do very quickly is I'm going to turn it up a bit. Going to turn the overall strength up as... Oh, I'm going to slide off the track. Oopsie. I probably shouldn't do that while I'm driving. But let's get a hot lap in. And I'll show you just how this feels over the crest. Into 4th gear. Down towards turn 1. Riding over that curb. Getting a really nice feel for the curbs. And then light on the brakes. Into the hairpin. Very nicely through there. And the one thing which is really good about this app, which I'll demonstrate to you guys in a moment, is it's really good at varying between cars. So, after I've done a lap in the Porsche, I'll show you what it's like in something a bit quicker. And that'll give you a really good idea of how this app works. But it just completely transforms the driving feel from the standard iRacing force feedback. You can see it bouncing down the main straight with the bumps. And we'll do one more lap. See if we can push it a bit harder. Already 3/10 up. And very nicely through there. Really clipping that apex. And then ducking out down to Graham Hill. Getting that curb feeling. It just feels absolutely amazing. As we get to the Indy part of the circuit, lots of understeer. No X, hopefully. No X. And through we go. I'm really powering out of it. It's going to be a good lap, actually. And you can see it bouncing down the main straight again. And there we go, across the line. And that is how it's like in a car with a bit less downforce. Yeah, so something with a bit less downforce and a bit more power. But now we're going to do it in something a bit quicker. Okay, so here we've got another car. This is very different to the Porsche we just drove. This is the Cadillac Le Mans hypercar, the LMDH or GTP class. And we've got the Circuit of the Americas West layout. And this is a really good contrast to the last car to show you just what this force feedback app is capable of as we head out of the corner. A little bit of oversteer, obviously on cold tyres. So we're going to take a moment to warm these up. And you can already see the bumping I'm getting is, oh my god, nearly losing it. I am losing it. And we can see it snapping back as I have a slide. But already, yeah, showing you just how good this force feedback app is. We're going to get a hot lap in, over the curbs. What I'm actually going to do is very quickly, just going to turn up the detail scale. Just a little bit more. Down into the hairpin. Lots of hairpins on this layout. Oh no, that's not good. Here we go, final try. We're actually going to get a hot lap in this time, down into turn 1. And, oh, another big slide, and you can see the way it reacts to oversteer when you get it. And it's, yeah, it just feels so good. Like, you can feel every single thing the tyres are doing. And if I go and hit this curb, yeah, you can see the big bump that I get. And again, right there. But down into the west layout. Basically straight lining that mini chicane. And then powering up towards the hairpin. Understeering through. And the other thing it does really well are the understeer effects. Like, you can really feel a lack of... Oh, damn. Yeah, you can really feel it when it understeers, as you sort of lose that grippy feeling. And the wheel becomes very light and everything like that. But down into the left-hander. Big effect on the curve there. These curves don't affect the wheel as much as they're relatively flat compared to other curbs on the sim at other circuits. But really trying to warm up these tyres as we head through the last section. Down into the second last corner. Big understeer moment. And there's just, yeah, not much feel in the wheel. We're going to serve this black flag. And now we're going to go for a hot lap. Out we go. onto the main straight, and you're going to see how this force feedback reacts. Already bouncing down the straight as we head up towards turn 1. Lots of force feedback happening, and it's I've double locked up straight away and bouncing over the bumps. But we'll continue on this lap. I don't want to keep restarting, but dropping down towards the chicane. And lots of understeer, not much tyres. Oh no, that's not good. Oh, that's a big accident. And you can see the way the wheel like jerked when I hit the wall. It's almost like this app turns a 5 Newton meter wheel into like an 8 Newton meter wheel. Okay, one more thing I wanted to test out, just because I remembered it while recording, is driving a front wheel drive car on the sim with this app. So I did a race last night in the Kia Optima, which is this car I've got here, and it felt very, very good on the new app. So I'm going to show you what I mean straight away. This is Winton National Circuit, so out of the pits we go, and you can already see when I put the power down coming out of this chicane, you can see how it understeers and how the wheel really stops me from turning it because of the weight the front wheels are experiencing when I put the power down. We can see the understeer there. Obviously, being a front wheel drive car, it likes to understeer coming out of a corner as the front wheels are doing the turning and the accelerating, as you can see right there. But look at how much the wheel is bouncing in a front wheel drive car compared to the rear wheel drive cars of the Cadillac and the Porsche Cup car. But through these corners, really turning it in, it's a struggle to get it turned with this app, as it makes the wheel so heavy. Through the corner we go, up to second gear, and then onto the straight, and that hasn't been too bad so far. But down in the braking zone, the downshifts are very aggressive, getting a big dose of force feedback whenever I shift down. And then up towards the final 2 corners, getting on the grass, and you can see how much it vibrates there, giving me all the detail of a rough surface, especially the curves. I also thought I'd choose Winton because the curbs are a bit taller, they've got a bit more depth to them, and they affect the cars a little bit more compared to the US, compared to the surface of the Americas. But down into turn 1, using that curb, I'm going to understeer a lot more. And then up towards turn 3, we're actually going to miss that curb, getting all the detail of what the front wheels are doing, because they are constantly sliding and trying to bite into the tarmac, but that's not happening. Through the left-hander we go, try not to understeer off. I'm actually going to clip the gravel, and then I'm going to be okay. I'm not going to understeer all the way out. Down into the right-hander, clipping that apex nicely, and you can see when I shift up how the wheel snaps, and the same when I'm shifting down, getting those big jolts as the wheels are spinning at different speeds. And I think the Kia is really, it's the best display of what this app can do and what this app can feel like. Down there, sliding out of the corner, well, sliding forwards out of the corner, up to third gear. And then we're going to get on the brakes. First gear, sliding it through. And there we are. Oh, sliding on the way out. Up to 0.6 of a second improvement on my outlap. But there we go. There's been a hot lap. And I think the Kia is really the best display of how this app affects the force feedback from what it normally would. I'm gonna have a little bit of a jump there. We're gonna pull off to the side of the road. But that, yeah, I think that was a pretty good video to show you how this app affects the way all the cars drive on iRacing. But there you have it, everybody. Hopefully you all enjoyed this video. I'm gonna leave a link to the download for the force feedback app in the description, and I'm also going to leave to Dave Cam. So yeah, I'm going to leave a link to Dave Cam's original video of where I got this idea from. And yeah, so hopefully you all enjoyed. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you all in the next video. So take care, everybody.